just stays in there.
Thank goodness for that. How a lot of nerves, and we're talking about the fans, were suddenly transformed into a triumph. Plus, a terrifying moment at Cannon Beach. Hear from the man who recorded this harrowing video and the experts on the unexpected dangers of king tides.
Mother Nature's not something you want to mess with.
And how the police investigation into two teachers in St. Helens now facing sex abuse charges started with a high school alum and a video.
I had no expectation that they would keep students safe.
Good evening, everyone. You're looking live at the Rose City with what appears to be a steady rain coming down. 50-something degrees on this Saturday night with a lot of fans catching the ducks at our local watering holes or else trying to stay warm and presumably dry at home. Thanks for joining us. David Molko here along with meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Joe, we'll talk about the game. On KGW News, the top-ranked Ducks in Wisconsin and trailing for much of the game, but then
Sappington's kick just stays in there.
Oh, thank goodness for that. How a lot of nerves, and we're talking about the fans here, were suddenly transformed into a triumph. Plus, a terrifying moment at Cannon Beach. Hear from the man who recorded this harrowing video and the experts on the dangers of king tides.
Mother Nature's not something you want to mess with.
And how the police investigation into two teachers in St. Helens now facing sex abuse charges started with a high school alum and a video.
I had no expectation that they would keep students safe.
Good evening, everyone. You're looking live at the Rose City with what appears to be a steady rain coming down. 46 degrees on this Saturday night with a lot of fans catching the ducks at our local watering holes, cheering or else trying to stay warm and presumably dry at home. Thanks for joining us. David Molko here along with meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Joe, we'll talk about the game with Orlando in a few. There is a lot to talk about, but first, give us the update on the storm moving through and that weather impact alert for the Cascades.
Yeah, and now that weather impact alert will take effect starting tomorrow only for the Oregon Cascades. We're looking at the timing to be tomorrow through Monday with the snow levels slowly starting to drop by tomorrow afternoon and into the overnight hours early Monday morning. So expect to see heavy mountain snow. Along with that heavy mountain snow, you're also going to be looking at some windy conditions. So make sure you're ready for winter driving throughout the higher elevations and make sure you have the attractions tires with you. Right now we're seeing a temperature of 32 degrees outside Timberline Lodge at this hour. Again, driving over there tonight, you're not going to have any major issues. Snow level will be above past levels, but heading into tomorrow by midday, those snow levels will start to drop right around past level. So they drop from about 8,000 feet tonight to 3,500 feet throughout the day tomorrow. Then going into Monday, they're even lower at about 2,500 feet. So if you're thinking, hey, that's great news, I can drive over there because of heavy snow, I'm used to that. Well, think again, because we'll also be looking at some strong winds with gusts up to about 40 miles an hour. As the radar starts to show you, the heavy downpours will be, or I should say steady stream of rain is already moving in. This is what it's been like throughout much of the afternoon. Meanwhile, throughout the Oregon Cascades, you're not seeing much in terms of snowfall, but you will heading into tomorrow. We're just going to have a series of systems move on shore. Kind of an atmospheric river will be in the picture heading into the early part of next week. I'll talk about that in details in your full forecast in about 15 minutes from now. But looking into tomorrow morning, we'll start to see some scattered showers at times, and then the showers will pick up a little bit. There's a good chance we'd be seeing some thunderstorms roll through as well. And yeah, it is going to be wet over the next few days. It looks like November is one of our wettest months of the fall, and that's proving that so far the last couple of weeks. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Living up to its name, sounds like rain, rain, and more rain.
Right.
Thanks, Joe.
Everybody wants to see that miraculous wave, and he had his camera out and she walked right in front and he was able to capture it.
We're following up tonight on this harrowing video recorded at Cannon Beach that shows the danger of sneaker waves and of getting too close to king tides. A beachgoer capturing this from the top of a dune as a woman apparently caught off guard was just pummeled by the surf. We want to let you know it appears that woman was able to eventually walk out on her own and she is okay. Paul McCarty went to talk to first responders and the man who recorded that video about the very real risks.
Out here in Cannon Beach, local agencies tell me that although king tides are a beautiful natural wonder and they encourage folks to come out and see them, they're also issuing this warning: keep your distance.
No.
And this video shot on Thursday shows exactly why.
The water started coming up towards her. She noticed it. She turned around, and just as she was trying to get away, those waves grabbed onto her.
Oh no! Oh my God! Oh my God!
The man behind the camera, Mike Ball, visiting Cannon Beach for the very first time. He just happened to be filming the king tides when the unknown woman walked into the frame.
It was very disturbing because I felt so helpless, I should say. I couldn't do anything for her. You can see in the video where it actually threw her up against that wall, and then there was a gigantic log next to her, and I thought she was a goner at that point.
Thankfully, she was able to get up and get out safely.
And there's a lot of sneaker waves that come up the beach. The surprising factor of a wave coming at you a lot faster than you think, you can't get out of the way, and it's pretty strong swell as well.
This close call shared on Cannon Beach Fire District's social media page.
It's unfortunate again, but it was good to see that it's able to be documented and people can see really what we're dealing with out here.
Koa Liu says they also sent out lifeguards to warn people in person at popular beach access points.
And what we're finding out is that a lot of people came to town to see the king tides, but there's a lot of people that don't know that the king tides are happening as well. It's very important that people be safe here.
Police Chief Rob Schultz also weighing in.
Mother Nature's not something you want to mess with. And the water is so powerful, you might think you're a good swimmer or could stand up in it, but it'll knock you down quick and take you out.
He recommends checking out the tide charts before venturing out anywhere along the coast and calling 911 if someone gets caught in a scary situation like this one.
Come on, miss, come on.
I don't think she intentionally was trying to get into a precarious position. She was just very innocent in her just taking a walk. Fortunately, everything worked out okay.
Expect to see king tides here on the Oregon coast throughout the weekend, and then a month from now in December and 2 months from now in January. In Cannon Beach, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
There's always been those teachers there that just feel predatory, that feel unsafe.
We're hearing more tonight from a St. Helens High School alum who police credit in part for sparking an investigation that has now led to the arrest of 2 teachers accused of sexually abusing students. John Adams is in the newsroom. So John, walk us through how this all started.
Yeah, David. Doug Weaver graduated from St. Helens back in 2007. He now lives in St. Louis, Missouri, and has built a sizable following on TikTok. Responses to one of his videos depicted numerous accusations against the now arrested teachers.
I have a lot of people that are sending me messages about things that are going on at my old high school.
2007 graduate Doug Weaver never imagined a TikTok post about his experience with a former coach at St. Helens High School would lead to the arrest of a current and former teacher.
I just had a lot of people sending me messages.
Weaver says a number of messages were about alleged misconduct committed by now arrested choir teacher Eric Stearns. Weaver would forward the accusations to Safe Oregon. He was then contacted by Columbia County detectives. Stearns and former teacher Mark Collins were arrested this week after a 2-month investigation. Weaver says he's not surprised the district allowed Stearns to continue teaching, a decision that prompted outrage from parents and students.
Sadly, it didn't surprise me at all. Sadly, I had no expectation that they would keep students safe.
Weaver calls this just the latest example of the school district failing to protect students from predatory behavior. In March of this year, the district paid out $3.5 million to settle a former student's civil rights suit against a former St. Helens track coach.
There's always been those teachers there that just feel predatory, that feel unsafe, that you warn the incoming freshmen, stay away from these teachers, don't be alone with these teachers.
In just the past few days, the high school principal and the district superintendent have been placed on leave, and the board chair has resigned after students and parents pushed for change during a school board meeting on Wednesday. Weaver applauds their efforts.
For a long time, I didn't think that change in this district was a possible thing.
Well, both Eric Stearns and Mark Collins appeared in court this week. Both pleaded not guilty to charges of sexual abuse. David?
Thanks, John. Appreciate that update there. And as we follow these cases, the team at The Story is working to talk with people in the St. Helens community who have more information. If that is you, you can email thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail. The number 503-226-5090. New tonight, a section of highway to the coast is back open this evening after a deadly 3-vehicle crash. This was just before noon on Highway 18, a few miles east of Grand Ronde. Authorities say one person was killed, several people were hurt. The junction with Highway 22 was shut down and has since reopened, though ODOT says drivers can still expect delays. Tonight, we are hearing from the uncle of a 5-year-old living with autism who was found dead Tuesday near his home in Coos County, 3 days after he went missing.
I'm just there right now. My family, like my mother and the father, my brother, he is taking it a really hard time.
Understandably, Joshua James McCoy, or JJ, was named after his uncle, also Joshua, who lives in Ohio. He tells us JJ was a happy kid, a climber. This evening, the community held a vigil for him in North Bend. His uncle tells us he is grateful. He wishes he could be there in person.
The support that we're getting from people in that area, and news outlets and daycares and tons of people that is just calling and supporting us. They're having that candlelight ceremony. They're having a motorcycle ride, a Jeep ride with like the sheriff and police department in it.
Making this more heartbreaking, today would have been Joshua's 6th birthday. The sheriff's office says they found his body about 1.5 miles from home. Authorities say his mother told them she'd fallen asleep, and when she woke up, he was gone. Family tell us they want to hire a private investigator to better understand the circumstances around JJ's death. All right, to a bit of a scary incident for some workers on Friday morning when a man stole this delivery truck with someone still in the cargo area. Beaverton police say this was caught on surveillance video around 4 Friday morning at a warehouse in Milwaukee. Watch as the truck pulls out. One worker was in the back. When it starts to move, you see her come out, hang on to it for a bit. As it makes the turn, stuff falls out, smashing on the ground. She eventually jumps out. She is okay. Authorities say employees tracked that vehicle to Beaverton using an air tag and called police. Officers say the suspect, 29-year-old Forrest Guayante, rammed a police vehicle, then tried to get away on foot. Authorities arrested him just after noon. He is now in jail, facing charges that include hit and run.
The throw on second down. Lock, batted down, picked off! Mateo Uiagalelei seals the deal and keeps Oregon undefeated.
That is what it's all about. Talk about the Ducks with a capital D for defense, going for 11-0 in Wisconsin and trailing for much of the game in Madison. Orlando Sanchez just caught his breath. Orlando, what a nail biter of a fourth quarter and what a game.
Yeah, David, this is not the type of game most were expecting here in Oregon. The top-ranked Ducks, favored by 2 touchdowns, visiting a Wisconsin squad that just got blown out a week ago and dropped back-to-back games. So pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. Oregon making the trip to Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin for the first time in more than 2 decades. And it was a rough start for the Ducks. Dylan Gabriel picked off in the red zone. They were held to just 6 points in the first half, while Wisconsin goes 9 plays, 75 yards to take a 10-6 lead. The Ducks trailing at the half for the first time since week 2. They were shut out in the third quarter, so let the drama begin. 4th and 9, and Dylan Gabriel threading the needle here to Terrence Ferguson, keeping the drive alive. Then it's Jordan James to the house. Game tied at 13. James rushed for 121 yards. Oregon gets a field goal out of Atticus Sappington. Yeah, the Central Catholic High grad puts the Ducks on top, 16-13. And the defense steps up in the clutch with under 2 minutes to go. That's Mateo Uiagalelei with the interception, and the Ducks move to 11-0 for just the second time in program history. After playing 8 games in 8 weeks, Oregon gets next week off and will host the Huskies on the 30th. So I'm saying they've been playing a lot of games back to back.
Yeah.
It was not pretty, but 11-0 is an 11-0, and this basically locks them up to play for the Big Ten championship game in just a few weeks. But now, get healthy, get right, and make that final stretch and try and do something big, maybe make history for the Ducks.
I mean, in the end, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't easy,
No.
but they pulled it out, and in part because of defense there as well.
As they say, a win is a win. Never apologize for getting the dub.
Hey, there you go. Thanks, Orlando. We'll see you in a few minutes. Talk about every